Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. My name is Menno, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can create a responsive square using a bit of CSS and a bit of jQuery, which will result in something like this. So keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to start from scratch. As you can see, there's a blank page here. So I have already created my file, which is single-square.html. Called the doc type HTML, opened up my HTML, and opened and closed my head and body tags. And first step we want to do is import the latest version of jQuery, which I'm going to do right here. So this will call upon the latest version of jQuery so we can use our jQuery to make it responsive. Next thing I want to do is create a div, and I'm going to call this square, right? And for the purpose of this, I'm going to put the CSS in the head section, which you generally don't want to do. But for the purpose of this video, just to show you guys how this works, I'm going to put this right here. So I'm going to call on the square class and give it a width of, let's say, 50% of the page. And for the purpose of actually being able to see this, I'm going to give this a height of 200 pixels. With a background color of goldenrod. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to refresh the page, and here's our, well, it's not a square, is it? Although the width is responsive, just not the height. Because if you were to give this a height in percentages, it would not show up. So the problem with that is I have to give it a fixed height, which we don't want because it's not a square, it's a rectangle right now. So first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the middle of the screen. I'm going to give this a margin of 0 auto. I'm going to refresh the page here, and we got this in the middle of our page. Right, so next thing I want to do is apply the jQuery that we got. So I'm going to copy my jQuery script that I've already created. I'm going to put this just above the closing body tag, which is right here. This is the closing body tag. So just above that, I'm going to put our script for jQuery. So basically what it's doing is, I'll put a little comment here, but basically what I did is I created a function which basically fetches the width of the box, which is 50%, but it's not going to fetch the 50%, it's going to fetch the width in pixels. And I set outer width, so it also calculate for the additional padding applied to this class. As you can tell, I gave the square a class of, well, square, and so I'm going to call upon the square in the jQuery and putting this in a variable, the amount of pixels and width of the class square. Next, I want to apply this, so I'm going to call the class square right here and apply it following CSS, which is the height, and I want the height to be the same as the width. So we're going to put in the variable width for the amount of pixels for the height of the class square. Right, so that makes sense. But the thing is, we also want this to be applied on when the page loads, obviously. And when the page is completely loaded, I'm going to redo the entire function just because, and things can go wrong, and this will fix that. So, and also we're going to reapply the same function, obviously, when we resize our window. So this is what it's doing right here, right? So here we create the function. The function is not automatically being executed. It is actually being executed right here, where it says responsive squares, and then the braces right here, and then the semicolon at the end. And at this line right here, it says document.ready function, which basically means is it will run the function that we've already created up here and apply it when the page is fully loaded, when the document is ready. The document is the page itself, basically. And also when the window or the browser screen is being resized, so window resize, it will do use this function, and inside this function is the responsive squares function. So we will reapply those same values to the square to make sure it will always be a square. And now it will override this height right here, which I've already applied. As you can tell, if I refresh the page here and resize the screen, you can see it will always be a square. So this part is being overwritten by the jQuery, so I can delete this now. As you can see, I will refresh the page. It's still a square, and it will always be a square. Now the thing is, if you want to put like 2 or 3 next to each other, let's, for the sake of this, create another one right next to it. It's a block element, so meaning that block elements will always be take up the entire width of the browser, which in this case is it's creating 2 squares on top of each other. So if you want to put for example 2 or 3 in a row instead of a column, I'm gonna have to put this into a wrapper. Hang on, let me duplicate that. I'm gonna call this, for example, square 1, so we can give this a different background color than the other ones. Can call this, oh come on, square 2, square 3, and we create a wrapper. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna call it wrapper. You might want to call it block wrapper or something similar to that. I'm gonna cut this, paste this here, indent the code a little bit here. I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna say wrapper and display flex. I'm going to say justify content space around. I think that will look nice. It's gonna refresh our page, and I was gonna put this all 3 squares right next to each other. So this width is being overridden by the fact that it says display flex, so it's automatically gonna apply 33% on this. So if I want to create this smaller than that, I can say 30%. So each square would take up 30% of the width of the browser. As you can tell, it's not neatly next to each other, so we can give these different background colors. So we can say I can change the color of square 1, for example, to cornflower blue. Let's just duplicate these. Give this a color of Indian red, and this one of orange, for example. I'm going to refresh the page here. As you can tell, I got all 3 squares in different background colors, and that's all there is to it. Just a simple bit of CSS. You wanna take out the CSS and put it into a different CSS file. Please do that. Don't put it into your HTML. Also, same thing with your script. If you're gonna use this script, please put it into a separate file and don't put it into your HTML directly. Alright, so I'm gonna have this code over on my code pen. There's a link in the description of this video, as well as a link to the post for this on my website, where I explain some things as well about this. And if there's any problems with this, I will fix it in there. Put it up in the post, and you can read about it there. So that's all for this video, guys. Please like if you like this video. If you thought this was useful, if this helped you in any way, shape, or form, please leave a like and a comment in the comment section down below. If you like this and you want to see more videos, please get subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.